Hello one and all, and welcome to Messages from Energy here on the Astroflower. We're going to be channeling the messages from the energy line that I'm sat up on, get a chakra sequencing, also get messages from the centre of the earth and have a look and see what's going on with that portal in the centre of the earth as well. Just an update on last week's thing. I've been looking at that tablet that I was given last week, and it's much bigger than I thought. So there will be a video coming out this week here on the basics, the basis of what the tablet is, and then we're going to be going through it piece by piece. Okay, it's going to take a bit of time to decipher and to channel, as it were. So yeah, join me on that journey on this channel. So in the meantime, let's just get a sort of general sort of feeling what's going on with the energies here at the moment. There's an anticipation in the air. I don't know if you feel it on your side. And for the first time in a long time, it hasn't been anticipations according to the human psyche, human social situation of what's going on in the world and stuff like that. It's much more to do with the rhythm of energy and the rhythm of the earth. And if you haven't seen the lunar eclipse live that I did on Sunday night, I do a live every Sunday where you can just ask questions of anything that's gone through my videos during the week, or any questions that you so wish to explore in regards to energies and so forth. And we do that on the Sunday night at 9 o'clock UK time. So I did one on the lunar eclipse and explained the energetic situation in the lunar eclipse. And this lunar eclipse is very, well, it's not just the lunar eclipse, that's why it's very special. We have the lunar eclipse on the 24th, on the 14th, sorry. Which is in a couple of days, and then 7 days after that we have the equinox, and then 7 days after that we have the solar eclipse, and this is all contributing to a rhythm. So if you imagine, pretend you're a kid again. It's always good to pretend we're kids. So just imagine pretend you're a kid again, and you're on that swing, and someone's pulling you, pulling the swing back for you, and you've got that anticipation within you, and that's what that anticipation feels like within the energy. It feels like we're getting ready for it to start swinging, and it's going to do that. And that rhythm is going to be, I think, very prevalent right through to June, July. And then August it will start we're starting losing the effect of it, as it were, and then we're going to get the other eclipses, which will be in September, October or November, around that period there. So and that will then change the rhythm again. So there's this anticipation in the energy. It feels really good. It doesn't feel, it feels like that kid ready to go off on a journey. So that's the general sort of feeling I'm getting from the energy sitting on this line here. Okay, let's just go on and let's see about the chakra sequencing, see what's going on there. So we're just connecting to the energy. There we go. It's still very, very strong, very determined. So it's now going down into the root chakra and the crown chakra. The root chakra seems to be working a lot more, and it's all about not allowing your ego to get in the way of new understandings, and that's quite difficult for humans to do. But the crown chakra is really open, as if like we've got this understanding that's coming in, and the crown chakra is now starting to explore that understanding. And I always say you've got to live your life, but it's not a case of standing in the way either. Okay, don't try and do too much this week here. Enjoy the ride. Okay, it's still with a lot of purpose. It's coming back, and then it comes back to the heart chakra. And now it's going, so it's going incredibly slowly, the energy. And so it's in the heart chakra, but the heart chakra is also very open, like the crown chakra. And it's open to understanding, like a child who's experiencing something for the first time, learning about something for the first time. That's what it feels like. And it spreads really wide, which is absolutely beautiful. It's a long time since I haven't felt the heart chakra like that, to be honest. It spreads far and wide. And then it goes down to the sacrum. And the sacrum is very light as well. There's no deviation from all of this. Although it may be light, it's got a lot of force that goes along with it, a lot of determination that goes along with this energy as well. And this sacrum here, what's this sacrum trying to explain? You need to be flexible with your understanding and start seeing things for what it truly is, dispelling all forms of illusion. That's what it seems to be like here. And it seems to be through stepping forward and stepping into your life that you will understand this. And the thing is because that rhythm is perpetually going forward, there's not a case of, okay, I step this way, okay, that's wrong, I'll step back and then step forward again. It's a case of kind of going, no, you step forward, okay, it's not quite right, so then I've got to adjust. And this is being very conscious about what is going on in the rhythms of life around you, the repeating things. That's what it seems to be like, okay? And don't try and do too much. I think that's really important here. Don't try and do too much. And then it comes back up. It's coming now back up to the third eye and the throat chakra. And the third eye is also very light, but also very fine, defined, as it were. Absolutely beautiful. And the throat chakra, it's not so, the throat chakra doesn't seem to be sort of like imposing, but it doesn't seem to be free. So this is where it's almost as like energy's sort of saying, look, stop talking and listen. That's what it's sort of saying here. That's what comes out of it. So just go with the flow, enjoy it, enjoy the ride. That seems to be the most important thing. Okay, and then it comes back down. It's going back down again, hits the sacrum again. And this is back to the idea of trying to carry too much. Do not try and carry too much in the world. You know, collectively we will get forward a lot quicker if individually we walk our own paths. Okay, so it goes down to there, and it's sort of like, you know, it's sort of, you don't want to be closed off to anything. So when I say walk your own path, you've got to be conscious of every other, you know, everything that is around you. And it doesn't mean walking your own path and blocking others just because you're walking your path. That's not how it works. You know, if you can see that you're blocking off someone's path, you can sort of like talk to them and etc. You know, there is a form of communication as well that does need to happen. And then we come up to the solar plexus. This is incredibly slow, the energy, and I'll speak about that in a minute. And then it comes up to the solar plexus, and the solar plexus is settled. It feels like the best college, you know, best porridge, you know, like Goldilocks goes in and says, oh, this one's just perfect. And it feels like that. It feels like there's enough energy to really do something. Okay, and then it comes back up to the throat here, and once you know what you've got to do in your life, in your personal life, once it feels good and you know what you've got to do, this is where you can communicate it clearly. So before you start trying to exercise or communicate your manifestation skills, start by listening, getting it all very clear within you, no matter what you wish to do in your life. Could be to do with the material world, with the business, job, projects, whatever. but also on a personal life. But just take in the situation before you start contributing, as it were. Because when you do start contributing, it feels like the throat chakra feels a lot more balanced, a lot more sort of, unshackled. So it's going to be easier to say things, easier to convey ideas. Use this energy to your advantage. That's the idea here. Okay. And then we come to the crown and the root at the same time. This time the root is not working so hard. It's a lot calmer. And I think this is where we come to the the equinox as well, sort of thing. This is what it's sort of saying here. And then we come back to the beginning point again. The reason, I need to say this, the reason I think it's getting slower is because if you imagine, it's when the person starts, you're sitting on that swing as that kid, and you imagine like you're being pulled backwards, and you're gradually, that smile in you with that anticipation is kind of going, oh yeah, I can't wait for this. And it starts, the pullback starts off quite quickly, and then it starts slowing as the moment the person gets to their proper height, that, you know, the highest they can pull you, as it were. And it's sort of like you get this stopping moment, and that stopping moment is the equinox. So we're still in this process of pulling back, and I think that's what the lunar eclipse is going to do, where it's going to get to that high point where we're stopped, and then you can just let it go and start swinging, which will then come into that balance point of the equinox, and then being pushed again by the solar eclipse. So as it's being pulled back here at the moment, I think this is where it's being pulled back to that lunar eclipse. I did say to the equinox earlier on, sorry about that. Should have been the lunar eclipse. The lunar eclipse is when it sort of like comes to that point there, and that point of pause. And as it goes out, that's when we find that rhythm, and it becomes natural at the equinox. And that's when the solar eclipse behind it then really starts pushing it. So if you imagine you're being pulled back by that person, they let go of the swing, and as the swing comes back, they just help the momentum to build. And that's what the solar eclipse is doing. So that's going to be over the next, from here to the end of the month, it's going to be very interesting as things really start getting into play. So yeah, and this whole idea as well, that if you start trying to do too much, you'll find that you get problems with the lower part of your back. Or if you try to try to do too much in the way of sort of like helping other people through rather than sort of following your path, you'll probably find you get like problems with your hip and stuff like that. Because that's your body talking to you. If you get that through your body, then, you know, listen to it. And this is what the whole idea behind the idea of listening before you act, before you engage and stuff like that. So I think it's going to be, it's certainly going to be a bit of an eye-opening week, and you've got to be prepared to see the reality for what it really is. That's what's going to be the most interesting thing, to see the reality for what it is. And then we'll have that pause at that moment of equinox, and then once with that realization comes behind it, it comes that sort of solar eclipse, which is then going to enforce the understanding that we can blatantly see in front of us. So yeah, that's the chakra sequencing. Okay, let's get into what's going on with the center of the earth. I'm just connecting to the line at the moment, the energy line. It does feel very beautiful. It feels really like a warm river, freshwater river, close, you know, not far from the sea, as it were. And it's just a beautiful place to bathe. That's what it feels like. It feels really, really nice. So we're just connecting to that energy now. There we go. Right, we're on that energy now there. Okay, so we're just going to use that crossing point that is just behind me there. So here we go. We go to the crossing point. Let's go down the vortex. The vortex is tight. It's only just allowing to go through. Okay, we're out in the now into the center of the earth there. Let's get into the center of the earth. And it's like there's, I talked about that void before, and that void seems to be getting very close to the surface now. And that's possibly that void of the equinox as well, that's going to be at the surface at the time around about the 21st. But it's, let's see what the center looks like. The center seems to be going back much more to what it was before. Not quite, I can still see the very sunlight, yellowish, orange, plasma sort of ball in the center, but it's gradually building its first magnetic field, which is more sort of transcendental, sort of soap bubble factor around it, and that will be compressing at some point, because it will be the layers of energy that's going to make the new magnetic field after the pole shift, as it were. So we're gradually getting to that. Okay, let's just go down to that center of that earth. Let me just see what's going on with that soap bubble there. It's like a really good, it's like a really bad dad's joke that is incredibly funny, you know, and it's just it's almost kind of going, ha ha ha, you know. It's really quite nice. Now, going through that, it doesn't really have any sort of weight to it and power to it, but it's really funny. Wow, that's beautiful. Let me just go down to the center there. So we're down onto that center sun. Let's just see what's going in. Let's just see if we can go into the center. Yeah, we go into the center. And this is, okay, so this is all to do with when spirits pass over. When you pass over, you become a sphere of energy, as it were, like an orb of energy. And that orb of energy has all your memory in it. And I get, there's a few orbs now starting to float around. And as they float around, they are drawn towards the center of the portal that's in the middle now. And everything seems to be in place. It seems to be working. And as it's bringing those orbs in, it's almost within each orb there's like a book that's the wings of a bird, as it were, that's helping it to fly. So this could be the what is known as the collecting of the Akashic library, the living Akashic library. And, you know, that all has to do with this dimensional change that we're going through, this paradigm change that we're going through. And I will have to do, I will be doing a video on the paradigm change, or the dimensional change, the dimensional shift that we're going through. And so it seems to be bringing in the live understandings, or the live Akashic library, the living Akashic library. That's what it seems to be. Okay. I can go to the center. There seems to be a lot less in the way of administrators as well. Okay, just go to the center. I just want to touch that portal, see what's going on. This is the building of the foundation of the new vibration of a new dimension. That's what appears to be happening here with the living Akashic library. If we can talk about that on Sunday night, that's going to be really interesting. I can see myself looking at myself. This is so funny. It's like becoming a mirror. It's like looking in your retro mirror of your car. You can see the past, but you can also see the future at the same time. And this is that anticipation as well. That's what it's going to make everybody feel. We're going to know we're going through this dimension regardless of who you are, and etc. So, you know, let me just see if there's a message from here. Okay, don't look back. I almost want to sing Don't Look Back in anger, but it's like, don't look back. I'll come to that in a minute, because there's a lot more that goes behind that. Let me just come. Thank you very much. It's very interesting to see those. It's a little bit like the keys out of Harry Potter, you know, that was flying around. Okay, so I'm just outside that sort of solar, the sun, the center of the Earth's plasma ball, as it were. Okay, let me just get a message from the Earth as the living solar system. Stay true to the rhythm and you will find your beat. Okay, I want to go into that a little bit further as well. Okay, thank you very much. Let me just find my portal coming through now. There it is there, it's coming through, back up into the portal, up into the, I just read through that soap bubble again, up into the church that's just behind me there. And then on back down into the body. And we're back down into the body now. Okay. Okay, let's go to the first one. And it says, don't look back. And it reminds me of the pillar of salts, that it was like in the Bible, and I've forgotten the name off the top of my head. I want to say Abraham, but I'm not too sure. You know, where it was all to do with Sodom and Gomorrah, I think. But you can tell me in the comments section, give me full, you know, correction of it, as it were. But one that, you know, people look back and they turned into pillar of salt. And this could be that the vibration, that if you look to the past, you will be fixed like a stone in the past, that will just get buried by the reality of the changes that are happening. So I would just look in front of you, gently, calmly, moving forward, and don't look back. You know, leave the past as it in the past, because it's going to bring, and this is what I was saying last week as well, it's going to bring forward truths that we need to get our heads around. And the only way to really get our heads around that is by walking forward and understanding, or allowing that understanding to be projected or experienced in front of us as we go forward. Okay, the message from the earth, the message from the earth was, what was the message from the earth? I forgot what the message from the earth is now. Let me go back to what it said. I'm going back down in there to find out what the message from the earth was. Get into rhythm. Thanking you very much, the solar system. Getting into that rhythm and you'll find your beat. That's exactly what it was. Okay. When you get into the rhythm of the energy that is around you, because it is going to change enormously, hugely, and it might even be so recognizable in between the equinox and the solar eclipse. That's when it could be really, really recognizable. And it's then getting used to that new rhythm. So it's like, you know, if you think of a Pink Floyd song that's really upbeat and everything like that, and then it breaks the rhythm and goes into something really slowly, and you know, it's recognizing that change in rhythm and then finding the part of that rhythm that makes you go well, you know, that sits well with you. So if you've got a rhythm of 1, 2, 3, 4, you could have a rhythm of 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3. That could be the beat that corresponds to you. It's still within the 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, and that's how you know, you get off beats and everything like that. That's why we get reggae and everything like that. So there's plenty of scope in it within the rhythm for everybody to find their place. And I think that's what the message is for the earth, saying find your rhythm, or find your beat within the rhythm. And if you don't, the rhythm will just mash you up. And I've been, I said it last week, and I think, I think it's going to be pretty much the same this week as well. I think it will, sort of, it can mash you up. So don't try and hold back about to it. If you try and resist it, you may have problems with your ankle. You're digging in your heels a bit too much. And that's where you might get your ankle that's telling you to start kind of go, loosen up, go with the flow, go with the flow. Listen before you contribute. Listen before you act. So you've got to listen to that rhythm of 1, 2, 3, 4 before you can get to the rhythm of 1, 3, 1, 3. So and it's having that. It's not just respect for everything, but it's also respect for yourself. Allowing the rhythm to respect you as well. So, yeah, this is going to be an eye-opening week. I say eye-opening because it could be the third eye that really opens up this week. It could be a very eye-opening week. I'm feeling those rhythms. It'd be interesting because we did the readings last week as well on Thursday and Friday. Thursday is earth and fire, Friday is air and water, and it was all about that energy last week that was really gonna like coming in. You've got to have the courage, get in that seat as a child, get ready to go for a swing. And this week here is much, it's going to be seeing, funny how it's sort of flows through the energies this week here. Very difficult to see the elements actually. I think it's going to be almost pretty much of everything. We got, if you're just looking at the sun as well, we've had coronal holes, we've also had filament energies, but we've got the return of sunspots as well. It's been very low activity with occasional M flares, and those M flares tend to be sort of firing off either side of the sun, either side of the earth. So it's going to make for a lot of air energy. So I think this is like, I almost feel like this week here that it's going to be playing to your principal energy as your sign. That's what seems like the element's going to be doing. This is finding your essence. And that could be interesting for people like Sagittarius or Geminis or Cancers or Capricorns, because they're full signs. And then also for pure signs as well, because it could be very intense for pure signs such as Pisces, Aries, Virgo and Libras. Then we have the traditional combined energies, which are the fixed signs, which is Leo, Scorpio, of course, Aquarius and Taurus. I'll get there in a minute. So it's going to be a very interesting week. I think it's going to help everybody to define things a lot better. Okay, if you've got questions, put them in the comments, and we will try and answer them on Sunday. If you haven't seen the lunar eclipse live that we did last week, do go and see it. It's very interesting. I find it very interesting, and it helps a lot out of understanding what's going on in the energies. So, and we will be doing that on Sunday. I will also be having those videos coming out about the template that I found that was given last week. I've been investigating it already, and I need to go through the basics of what the template is all about, and then we're going to break it down over other videos in the coming future. So if you got questions on that as well for Sunday night, that'd be absolutely brilliant. That's Sunday night at 9 o'clock in the evening UK time, so whatever time you are in the world. Okay, yeah, I guess that's all for me left to say at the moment. Thank you very much for being here. I hope you do get the best out of these videos. I really do appreciate all the support you give to this channel. Don't forget, life should be fun. So please do enjoy.